I'm Iris Acker, and we're on stage. The show is A Chorus Line. Oh, are you in for a treat? And I have Bob Avian, the director, choreographer of A Chorus Line. Before I let Bob say a word and I tell you anything about his marvelous background, let's put you on stage right now for a little bit of A Chorus Line.
And you know she had how many bears been telling poetic and she wants you out there to love you. And you know from her many boys of this world, she's a special girl, so nobody else can help all your qualities extolling. Loaded with charisma, it's my touch something and you know you must travel along, join the parade. She's hypnotizing and making the grade. For the girl is like that we know. Stop, and get enough of.
Welcome, Bob Avian.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How many years now?
Since Chorus Line started? 1975, so it's 33 years.
Unbelievable.
I know it,
You
and
keep
I'm
saying
still
that
working on it.
And you're still working on it.
Yeah.
It's so perfect, it's hard to imagine any tweaking even to be done.
Right.
Every dancer's dream is to be in Chorus Line.
Yes, absolutely.
And years ago, you might have been, am I right?
Right.
Having had you on my show a couple of years ago, we talked about beginnings. What makes you what you are today? And it has to do, you started like they did,
Yeah.
as a dancer.
My Chorus Line, the first show I ever did that was about dancers, was a West Side Story. I was a replacement in West Side Story, but for me it had the same impact. You know, every decade has its show that features the ensemble. And in the 50s it was West Side, and then it went on to be about hair, and then it went on to be about cats, and you know, where the ensemble gets a crack at playing major roles.
And you know, I go back to the days where either we were singers or
Right.
we were dancers.
That's correct.
Today, you gotta do it all.
Today you got to do it all because of the economy.
Is that what it was, really?
Yeah, because we used to be able to do shows where you had the singing and dancing chorus, but you had 20 more or 15 more people in the show. They can't afford it now, and when you hire a chorus, they've got to do it all.
Let's talk about you and your association with Michael Bennett.
Yes.
How did you meet?
We met on the European tour of West Side Story. I had closed in the show in New York, and we were doing a European tour, and Michael came in and played Baby John.
Yes.
And he was about 16 or 17 years old. I was 21, 22 in there, yeah. And
What role did you play in West Side?
I was Indigo, a shark, and and Michael was Baby John, a
Yes.
jet. You know.
A Chorus Line, the dancers, they have to be actors, they have to be singers, but more than that, the original cast, it started as a workshop,
Yes.
and tell the story over and over again. It's so fascinating that the audience loves to hear about it.
Well, you know, Michael always wanted to do a show about dancers, and one evening, with the help of many Broadway dancers, they got together and shared a couple of hours of dancing together, and then they sat around in a group and started telling their stories of their own lives to bond together, because dancers are very special people. And I think we are always proud of who we are, because no one's quite like a dancer, you know. So when this was happening, Michael said, "Can I bring a tape recorder along?" And they went, "Sure." And to get the ball rolling, he started speaking about his own life first, what made him a dancer. And he opened certain doors that were risky. So he kicked the ball off, you know, and all of a sudden each story got more and more open about who these people were, and more revealing. And it went pretty far, and this session went all night long. So there we were after this session, and a couple more actually, where we had like 20 hours of tape. giving these biographies of all these dancers. And we said, now what do we do? How do we still this? How do we conceive this into an evening and give it a structure? And we came up with the audition idea and took many liberties, but it was a very difficult process in distilling it down to 2 hours. But we rehearsed in these workshops that had never been done before, and Equity let us do it. And we did this over a period of a year, and we wrote and catered these roles to the people who were in the workshop room. You know, so songs were written for one girl who could only hit this note.
Oh, how wonderful.
Or, you know, whose neurosis was in this place. So these roles were tailored to these people. And
wonderful. Well, I think I told you last time, I'll repeat it again, is that I personally knew one of the dancers in the show because I had just worked with him in a show prior to his being in the workshop, Ron Koeman.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Wonderful. And there was a gypsy run-through, and he called me and said, would you like to come? And it was at the Public Theater.
Right.
And yes, I said, love to, went. I'm telling you, the entire audience got up and hugged everybody on stage. I mean, it was their curtain call. We didn't leave them alone. It was one of the most exciting nights of my life in theater.
It was an amazing time. Amazing.
Being able to see it then, there.
We were so afraid the show was going to be so inside and so showbiz that the rest of the world wouldn't get it. And it was just the opposite.
You know, this is 33 years ago. How was it to relive, redoing it after all these years?
Well, you know, when the decision was made to revive the show, I thought to myself, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this again. You know, for 15 years, you know, I took care of road companies and kept them cast and whatever, and there were a lot of foreign productions, but I hadn't really worked on it since 1990. And when John Brelio, the producer, said, we're going to do it again, I said, okay, do it soon, because I'm getting old here, you know. And so soon as casting started, it just started getting me all excited again, because the show is about the talent that we find, and the talent today is very different than the talent in 1975. Well, they're much more trained, and these kids have much broader experience and backgrounds in their training, and they all pretty much can sing. Nutrition has a lot to do with the way they look now, and so we saw some pretty dynamic people come in. And what is difficult about casting, we found so many talented people, but the roles are so specific now in terms of what they have to do in each role, in terms of vocally, dance-wise, emotion, whatever. So that would distill itself, you know, but we found fabulous people, and that was the exciting part of it, and seeing all these new, wonderful, talented kids come through.
Every dancer cannot become a choreographer. I speak from self. What inspired you to take that next step?
Well, you know, I didn't even know it was happening. Michael Bennett was my best friend, and he was very ambitious as a choreographer, and he was looking for an assistant, you know, who could help him and be his eye and be honest with him. See, because we were friends, and he asked me to work with him, I didn't care about protecting my job or what I said. I just say, Michael, that's not so hot, and whatever. And he trusted me so much that way that he just got so hooked into me being there next to him all the time. And I didn't know if I had talent as a choreographer either, but I was a great editor. I knew that, and I did find that I did have instincts and talents to be a choreographer. And what made us such a good team is we had two different techniques. Michael was basically a jazz dancer and a tap dancer, and I was a ballet dancer. So our vocabulary expanded tremendously. I'm very lucky too now, because my assistant is Peter Pileski.
Yeah, let's give Peter a...
And he assisted me on Chorus Line, and again, you know, could tell me the truth constantly. It's so important.
And Bob, thank you again.
Well, thank you so much, Iris. Good to see you again.
Come back again and again.
I would love to.
Always have wonderful stories to tell.
Okay, great.
And please, please, you continue to come back again and again. Go to the theater and watch us every week, right here on stage.